Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show live stream. What's good, y'all? Got a bunch of y'all in here already. Appreciate you guys. What's good, Chris? What's good, Daniel? Appreciate that. Looking to get some bets in. I feel you. What's good, DB? Regular up there in the Discord. Going to be getting some of my bets on the screen for y'all. Got the bottom line running now. We are ready to go with the bets that I've already got in. Some of them we got some good value on. Some of them, we got to come back and revisit real quick. What's good, G-Bag? Good to have you in here, bro. Let's look at some of these bets so that we can get right into it. I'll remind you, if you don't yet have the props.cash, you want props.cash, go ahead and get that code. Get you a little 25% off for the first month. Just a quick reminder there. And now we're going to move into some bets. Also got the Discord flying, obviously, still. So if you guys want to jump in there, I recommend it. We got some good bets flying around in there. Got some good stuff from people to look at here. I already know, I believe it was G-Bag that wanted to look at some Brolo stuff. So I'm going to put some stuff up here on the bottom line after all the bets I've made. We've got upcoming soon. So I'm going to put Brook Lopez in there to look at. I'm a little bit worried about Brook Lopez rebounds now that we got Bobby Portis back. I think he got 9 boards last game because Bobby got kicked out in the first couple minutes of that game, as we saw. And so that'll probably impact a couple of these bets, knowing that Bobby's going to be in moving forward. I'm going to let people keep jumping in and throw some bets in the comments as well. I do want to take what you guys have. That's what we do here. We go over it. We take a look at everything. Good hit on AD. Love that. What's good, 36 Chambers? What's good, Aramis? Good to have you in here, bro. Got Mike in here checking in from the lacrosse field. That makes sense. Being a good dad. We got to look at some over some of these dudes that props are dropping in that Philly and New York game where we're going to see the Knicks probably take this one. I know Joel has the migraine. I don't know if any of y'all had migraines. It's not a joke. That stuff sucks. So there's going to be some stuff to look at with probably at best limited Joel Embiid. So definitely make sure to be looking at those injury reports. I've got them pulled up right now as that keeps changing, and I'll go back into the into some stuff as well with the injury reports on Twitter, right? Because that's where we like to look at this stuff. Everything you're going to see on the video today is going to be something that you can. The links are all in the description of the video as well, so you can check that out. Let me pull up how we've been doing. Kind of a rough day yesterday, honestly. Could have been a lot better, and ended up only down 0.8 units, mostly because LeBron didn't get that triple double at the end, and a couple other things you can see there that really screwed us. SGA missed the most amount of field goals he's missed all season in one game. Still had a ton of field goals made, but that was a struggle, and that really sucked. So we lost out on that one, but still up 1.3. The sides and the totals are carrying us. I got a side, actually a total here in this video as well, and a bet that I already made that I'll go through real quick with y'all. So let me get into that with y'all. I see you guys putting some bets in already that we want to look at. Yeah, we got G-Bag with the play of the day. We got over PRA for Franz. I do continue to like Franz to keep having some good looks here. Let me look at Franz in this game as well. We'll put that up here. I got Brolo. Brolo is Brook Lopez. We're going to look at his. I'm mostly going to be looking at his points, I believe. So I'll put that up and then keep moving through it. We got Brolo. Adding some stuff right now while everybody jumps in still. Got a bunch of y'all in here. Keep throwing those bets in the comments if you want me to go through them. Putting them up right now. We got Brolo points. Come on, dog. What is happening? Y'all can see how bad I am at typing right now. This is embarrassing. Points for Brolo. And then we got I will look at Chris Middleton as well. We got to look at his points, probably some assists. We can look at everything for Middleton. And then I just had a couple more come in. I want to look at Malik Beasley. I do think he's going to keep shooting threes. Yeah, we got G-Bag already talking about Beasley. That's good. So I'll put him in here. We will look at Chris assists. I think Chris had 5 last game. He had 10 potentials. Bobby Portis was out. I think you're likely to get more Chris assists without Bobby. But we'll take a look at that real quick. I'll put Beasley in here. And a couple other, Jared Allen is a late questionable tag added to that to the injury report for the Cavs. Keep that in mind. Let's look at Embiid. I don't know how exactly healthy he is. I know he's going to give it a go. I don't think you could possibly sit out if you're Joel. So we'll look at his stuff real quick. Joel points, adding a couple more here. We could go Embiid first quarter. I got to see how he is and see how it's going. Let's see. Keeping it moving. We got Bobby's out? No. When did that come about? Bobby's playing, right? No, I don't think Bobby's out. If anybody saw that, let me know what you're talking about there, G-Bag. If there is something there with Bobby Portis. Let me add. Okay, we got Josh Hart, PRA. Always down to look at Josh Hart. I don't know that he's been shooting as well, but he has still been boarding, as we know. So I got that stuff on the bottom line. I'm gonna go through a couple of these bets. If you guys want to keep jumping in, let me put Halliburton on there. You guys got a lot of stuff he wants to look at. I appreciate that, bro. Putting up Halliburton. Here we go with Halliburton. We can look at his stuff. The thing about this Pacer squad is they just keep bringing dudes out, and like guys like Obi Toppin have a usage rate of like 80, like 20% when they're on the floor for like 15 minutes. So you got to hope that guys like Bobby, or I'm sorry, for like Obi Toppin and company, that they have. No, you're good. Yeah, Bobby Portis is in, so don't worry about that. He missed most of last game, right, because he got booted right away for basically getting into a fight with Nemhard, I believe, which was ridiculous. Let's look at JB, the God, Jalen Brunson, the real JB. I'll put him in here as well. His stuff is so high, but if you think he's just going to keep dominating, man, like if you think he figured it out, then yeah, he's probably a good bet here. Let me look at a couple others that I got already. I got Kyle Lowry in here. You can get him for better juice now at plus 140, I believe. You can get for over 3.5 assists. So I messed up the closing line value with Kyle Lowry. But this was in the video from that I put out last night. So if you do want to subscribe to that page, definitely goes a long way to help everything we're doing here as I keep bringing you all this stuff every day. And then it will also help you get those ahead of those videos when they come out, so you can get the exact lines that I put out there, unless you want to wait because I lost TLV on Kyle Lowry. I got line value on a couple other places though, so keep that in mind. Yeah, let me put McConnell. Is Halliburton injured now too? Somebody's got to update me on that. I haven't seen anything about Halliburton being questionable or whatever. I'm going to share my screen here in a minute so you guys can see what I'm looking at. I have the injury report pulled up right now for the Pacers. I guess Halliburton's questionable. God damn, I didn't know that. That's a huge part of it. I expect him to play. He had like a random weird little like questionable tag that came up the other day too, and then everything was fine. I'm getting updates. Kelly Oubre is good to go. I got a bet for him as well. Let me pull that up for y'all in case you haven't seen it yet. The Lowry here, I like the assist because really, just to finish the point, like the assists have been going up. The potential assists, I think he's figured stuff out with Joel being back. It took him a minute to figure out how to play with Joel and still get those dimes. And now when they put the ball pressure on Tyrese Maxey and they try to force it out of Joel's hands, Lowry's a great outlet. And Nick Nurse trusts this man. He's playing 34 minutes a game now in the playoffs. During the regular season, he was at about 4 assists per game in 28 minutes. Now we got him at 34 minutes with a similar potential assist rate that he's at and everything. So still liking that stuff from him. All good. What's good, Free Sauce? Thanks for dropping in with a couple bets before you got a dip. Let's see. Pat Bev under rebounds. Okay. Pat Bev in here. I think he might continue to score. He only took 6 shots last game. He still got over his points prop there. I'll put now and we got Bobby Portis back, so we got to keep that in mind. Let me put Pat Bev in here so that we can look at him. Patrick, 94 feet Beverly. Pat Bev. Look at his rebounds. I'll look at his rebounds and assists as well. Put that in here. Got that saved. Yeah, we got Franz. We'll take a look at him in a sec. Lowry. I don't mind the PRA for Lowry. Lowry's rebounds, actually, because we got Steven asking about Lowry everything. And points and rebounds, I also don't mind for Kyle. I just love the plus money. This gave me like a 50% edge at plus 115 when I put in Lowry stuff, assuming he plays about 33 minutes tonight. I'm going to be using that chart that I put in the Discord for everybody. It's a really simple betting model, but it is really helpful to make sure that like you're not getting gypped by these books when they give you bets, right? So it's a really good tool to make sure that the odds are in your favor at the very least, and that you're not overpaying for a bet that you shouldn't be paying for, et cetera, right? Let's put Maxey in here. I didn't put Maxey in one of my bets from last night, but I'll add him to the list right now. So I can still add him to these bets right here. I'm gonna try to get to these bets starting right now so that we can at least get to as many as possible here in the next like hour or so. I got a Gary Harris under for that Mavs and the Cavs and Orlando game here. Gary just doesn't do much on offense, and he's not going to be expected to moving forward. They had really good offensive games, and he played a few less minutes in these last 2 games where they had blowouts. So keep that in mind. His minutes are a little bit wonky because he got fewer minutes and was taken out in games 3 and 4 when they scored $120 and won by 20, whatever. But the key is like Jalen Suggs takes all his usage. That's the dude who gets those sort of above the break shots where Cleveland's a little bit more vulnerable. And Gary Harris is just not a dude that is shooting from anywhere that is really helpful against the Cavs team. It's not really shooting at all. With just 3.5 field goal attempts in the 3 games that Jalen Suggs didn't leave, right? Suggs left game 2. Then Gary Harris goes off, and he's the Jalen Suggs now. And Suggs is going to continue to be that outlet for them to keep shooting. and a lot of other dudes could take some minutes from Gary. So great defender, done a good job, an incredible job actually on Darius Garland this series. But that's going to be his focus moving forward. Deuce. We got Deuce McBride bet in the house. Had to get Deuce in here. Now that we have one of the sort of the impetus for this, the starting point where I started looking at Deuce was like Bojan is out. Bojan Bogdanovic is now out for a while. Actually, I don't think he's going to be coming back. These playoffs doesn't look like. The latest on him was that he's getting undergo foot and wrist surgery. So Bojan ain't coming back, which means this is the only dude coming off the bench that Tibbs really trusts to score. I think his field goal attempts stay up at around 10 in this game. If you need him to get 9 points on 10 shots, he's good for 50% from the field. He's also going to be shooting about 5 or 6 threes in this game. So if he hits 1 or 2 of those, we're on route here to a good over for him. Role players get more at home. They do better at home. They shoot better at home, all that. So I like that bet. And this is maybe bet of the day for me is Kelly. Oubre over points, over rebounds and points, like all that stuff, just not really the assist for Kelly. But everything else for Oubre is a go for me with the way that they're going to need him, like especially if you look at the second half stuff. His second half numbers go right up as Joel's numbers go down because Joel, God bless him, can't really make it 48 minutes without breaking down a little bit more in the second half. So that's what we got here. We got Oubre over PR. We got Deuce McBride over on the points. Gary Harris under 9.5 PRA. Kyle Lowry with actually a better number available for his over assists. Like who are asking about, I like points, rebounds, and assists for Lowry. It's crazy how well he's getting in there and boarding. It's not crazy. He's always been a good rebounding guard. It's just really what he's into right now. So Franz is not necessarily going to be a fade for me just because Dave A is bringing it up. So I'm not quite sure. Yeah, but Oubre's a go, by the way. Michael Marker, thanks for bringing it up. If you guys do see these injury reports coming through and you see things coming down, let me know because I'm trying to stay on top of that. But I did see Oubre is going to be a go in this one. Good Lord, I hope not. As a Knicks fan, I truly hope we don't see Alec Burks getting burned today. If he gets some run, then I'm going to be pretty frustrated because I don't think that means we're in a good spot. Now, if he's heat check and he comes in and does it, whatever. But I got a question here I want to answer real quick from Edgar. What tool do you use to check who defending a player during the games? Like during the games, you're not going to be able to get that as easily. But after the games, you can go in and look at matchups. I hope you've seen that before. I'll start sharing my screen here. We can get into the Knicks bets that we've got. Let me pull up my Knicks overlay. So everything is clear for y'all. And then we're going to jump into those Knicks bets. And I call it the Knicks game. It's a Knicks game. Philly and New York. All right, let me start sharing my stuff so we can look at that. But if you're looking for matchups, it's not as easy to find in the game. You really just have to be watching it and seeing who's guarding who, to be honest with you. Let me pull this up. So, but if you do want to look after the game, you might have already seen this, Edgar, but I'll just show everybody since you're asking about it, and it might be helpful because I do want to know who's guarding who when it comes to things like rebounds and points. But rebounds are huge because who they're guarding really helps dictate where they're standing on the floor. So let me go into games real quick, and I'll go into just view this series for a minute. I'm going into the Knicks last game here, game 4. And this will help to have up anyway, but this is where you can go into the box score of the game on NBA.com and then go and change traditional to matchups. And then you can see who's guarding who. You can change the offensive player to whomever you want or the defensive player and that kind of stuff, right? So this is going to be really helpful. One thing I'll show you about the Kelly Oubre bet is the reason that I'm super confident in Kelly continuing to get minutes is he's the dude guarding Jalen Brunson, right? So he's getting about 6 minutes in this last game on JB. And Brunson is doing everything he can to switch everybody off of him and get the exact matchup who he wants to go at. So that's why you see Kelly not necessarily always the primary defender on Jalen, but he starts out every possession as the primary defender as long as they're not in transition or whatever, right? That's a good question to make sure you know who's guarding who in these games. Really, really important. Bro, is it time to take an over on Tobias Harris? Like I feel like everybody in here would immediately leave the stream or like start sending me hate mail if I bet on over on Tobias Harris. But this is getting out of control for Toby Harris. Like it's down way too far. So I'm on props.cash. That's going to be what I'm using. I'm going to refresh it real quick, but this is what I use moving forward as like my homepage on when we do these live streams. Like I said at the beginning, I do have the scrolling on the bottom line. If you want the code LYB24, gets you 25% off of props.cash. But let me pull that up and pull up this Knicks game and look at, like, first of all, just Tobias Harris is at 10.5 points. And he averaged 16.5 during the season, even with Joel Embiid, and we still just can't get him to make a damn shot. Like he's taking 10 shots, which, by the way, is lower than he normally would If you look at what he's done in this series so far, playoffs, in the playoffs, he's only taken, he's in at about 35 and a half minutes. He's only taken 9 shots. He's had about 13 field goal attempts during the season when he's playing a few less minutes. So he's just scared to shoot at this point. Plus, he's got a terrible field goal percentage. He's shooting about 40% in this series. So that still only gets you about 8 points. He's not even really pulling threes anymore. He shot 1 last game and the 2 the game before. And so it's just like Toby is just, he's in a rut at the very best, is what I could say about him. But he is rebounding, and that was what the one of the questions was here too from Free Sauce, was talking about him having those having the rebounds in this one. Real quick, just because you're bringing it up, and this was a terrible beat yesterday. Jovic, what happened to him was Spo didn't play him. I mean, Spo just outsmarted himself as far as I'm concerned. He needed 3-point shooting, and we had Caleb Martin and Haywood Highsmith fucking flat-looking threes at the rim all day. It was so brutal, bro. But all right, let me add a couple more. I got Daryl Bethel in here. What's good, Daryl? Good to have you in here, fam. We got McBride points up. Brunson under from Adriano. So let me get into this stuff. Let me start looking at it for real. Toby was not brought up other than the boards, and he's got rebound chances coming at 6.5. Now you got to take 7.5 to get good juice. He's done that a lot in this series, and he's got the second most rebound chances of anybody on this team. So I'm gonna go to NBA Advanced Stats. This is the best place to look at rebound chances. I'm gonna go to players, and I'm gonna go to tracking data. And all this tracking data helps us see exact player movements on the court, what they're actually doing, where they're at, what their more individual metrics are, so we can gauge player prop stuff, honestly. So I'm going to change this to, I'm in player tracking, rebounding, and I'm changing this to playoffs just so it's a little easier. And I'm going to go to Philly and just see, I know Tobias is getting a good amount of rebound chances. We're not on Philly. Where'd you go, Philly? All teams. And this change from the regular season. Come on now. Playoffs, all teams to Philly. And we're looking at rebound chances. So he's at 13, right? So 13 to get 7 or 8. He's averaging 7.5 on the season for Toby. And this is playoff still. He was at about 6.5 boards, right? And even with Joel in there, let me put Joel in there. We do expect him to go, even though he's not maybe going to be 100%. 6.4 rebounds, basically the same. So it's a little bit under the 7. I know he's been rebounding a bit more in this series, which is going to be crucial for this really good Knicks rebounding team. But Tobias keeps being a like real right over the edge kind of rebounder. I'm still kind of staying away from it. So, all right, let me move into some other stuff. Let me pull up the banner that we got here. So I got my Deuce McBride bet in. We want to look at Josh Hart. We want to look at Joel points and stuff like that. So let me start with some of the stars. We'll go into Joel and look at his stuff. I'm already on this. Jojo Embiid, sneaky under on the rebounds. Look from Free Sauce. I like where your head's at with that. Now he's at 10.5. The under is minus 140. So you can see this thing's like on the verge of going down to 9.5. In BetMGM you might be able to get a 9.5, but like FanDuel, DK, all these, it's hella minus odds for him to go under. On the season, he was at about 10.9. This is one of the best rebounding teams in the league, obviously, for the Knicks. Mitchell Robinson's going to be a game time decision. Do we have Precious Achiuwa rebounds? He's up at 3.5 now. I should have taken this at 2.5. If he's available on BetMGM, Precious Achiuwa is a good look, just while we're talking about Joel rebounds, just because if you see what he did last game, he had to come in. Let me pull up head-to-head or playoffs. He's only shown his face on the floor in 2 games so far. In one, he played, 10 minutes in that one game on the 25th. 20 minutes in this last game because Hartenstein got foul trouble, and I would bank on Hartenstein continuing to get foul trouble, to be honest with you, if he's the main defender on Joel, which he is. So he's going to keep causing those fouls, which means that there is going to be opportunity for a backup big to come in. If Precious is in there, his whole job is to rebound, and there might even be times where you see Precious in with Isaiah Hartenstein for a few minutes to make sure that they collapse on Joel and get those boards. So keep an eye on Precious Achiuwa. I think 3.5, if you can get that on MGM, if that's the only place to find it. If you get 3.5 for minus 105, I still think that's a good bet for him. Even if he plays 20 minutes, I think he's good for about 5 or 6 rebounds once again. And minus 105 to get 4 is a good look. And if you hit that now and then Mitch Rob doesn't play, then this bet goes up as soon as this line goes up as soon as he's ruled out, right? So keep that in mind for Precious. For Joel, what was his rebound chances at? 21 over the 4 games. That he's only at 9 boards. That's crazy and kind of scary to take that under, right? All right, cool. Daryl talked me off of over anything for Tobias, so we can move past that. 21 with only a 52% rebound chance, 43% rebound chance percentage. you expect that to go up. So it's scary to take an under with that many rebound chances. With the juice all the way down to -140. Yeah, I don't know about that, but if you're talking about the 7.5, for him to get 8 is good bread. I feel that the rebounds is the only thing I would take for Toby. If it comes to scoring and making shots, or even dimes or anything like that, nah, I think I'm good on that. Let's see. Are you talking about assists for Joel? Let me just finish up, see if there's anything for Joel that makes sense. The dimes and the 3-pointer have been a pretty good bet for Embiid lately. He only made 1 in this last game, but he's shooting from deep. So last game he had 6 attempts, right? Even if he takes 6 to get 2, I still think that's a good bet for Joel. At -125, that's really good juice there compared to everything else for FanDuel. I think that's got to be a bit of a play with the amount that he's taking. He's averaging 6, 7, 9, 8. So yeah, about 7 in this series, right? Maybe exactly 7 in this series. So 7 to make 2 for him when on the season. Let me take out playoffs. On the season for him, he averaged 1.5. That was on just 4 attempts, and now he's up at 7 attempts, right? So 1.5 on 4. It's a really good 3-point percentage at 38%. We would only need to hit 2 for us to get our bet. If he takes 7, if he takes 6, obviously he needs to hit 33%, which is still fine. Like, I think that's still a good bet. So -125, I'm going to add Joel's threes. That's my first thing that I like for him, honestly. And also, just because you're right, you're right about that, Dom D. I was looking at Andre Jackson. You can get even +180, I think, for the rook from UConn to make a 3 in that Bucks game. That's a pretty good look. Just to interrupt myself for a minute, I'm gonna take Joel on the threes for a minute and put him up here for half a unit. We got Embiid over 1.5, 3 p.m. 3-pointers made over 1.5, 3 p.m. Taking that from -125 on FanDuel. You're gonna have to get that now because everywhere else has it juiced all the way down past 125 to like -130, -140, -160 for him to hit 2. So if you can still get that at the juice on FanDuel, that's a really good look with just straight value above all else. So I like the threes for Joel. I'm gonna add that in there. The under for the boards would be a great look if it was better money, but I think at -140 and worse odds than that, even you're not necessarily gonna get any kind of edge for Joel on the rebounds. The points for Joel, that's always going to be just really dependent on, is he breaking down in the second half. If you want to take like first quarter, what's his first quarter point prop at? That usually pull through correctly here. First quarter, it says 8.5 or -115. I think the first quarter point bet is a better play than the full game at this point. Like, even for Philly to be winning at the end of the first quarter and just come out blazing so that they can try to keep this series alive, I think that's a pretty good look. But and in which case you need he and Maxey probably to be doing their thing. I know that Kelly Oubre has also been scoring a lot in the first quarter in the last couple games, so got to keep that in mind. Let me make sure I'm getting the right number here for Joel on the first quarter points, because that's where I would go with points before I went anywhere else with that. So I'm pulling up Philly just on DK real quick to see what their first quarter point prop is for Joel at the bottom here. And it looks like, where are you at first quarter? Here we go. First quarter, 9.5 now. So that is probably what it's going to be on most books, is 9.5 for Joel, which is probably what it should be at. He's averaging more than 11 points per game in the first quarter this season. So that's a good look right there. The first quarter before the points on the whole for Joel. If we look at assists, I want to see what his potentials are at, because I know he's going to have a lot of double teams. His first quarter assist, we do the full assist at 5.5. It looks like he had a hell of assist in the last first quarter. This is the full game though, and this is in this series. So he's gone 6-6. Let me do playoffs. 6-6-4. Yeah, so +112 at 5.5. That might be a little bit tough. Now he's averaging 8.5. Yeah, I don't want to have to take him to get 6 dimes on 8.5 potential assists per game. That's really, really high. So obviously he had one game where he only had 5. The other 2 is about 9, 10. So it's still high to get 6 assists for Joel. I'm gonna show y'all courtside pal real quick. I know a lot of you guys are familiar with it, but I just want to see how his rebound or his assist numbers rather compare against the team. So courtside pal, the link of this is in the description of the video if you want to check that out. And this is how you can see player profile and their player tendencies versus team defense, rather than just just his player position, which is center, and that doesn't tell us quite as much. So dimes for Joel playmaking against the Knicks, not going to be good. I mean, Knicks going to be a top defense against everybody that tries to get assists or points or anything against them. So I'm going to pass on that for Joel. I like the bet we got in for him. I took the 3 at this point. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. If you think the migraine is real, Mike brings up a good point. You basically don't want to do much, and passing would make a lot more sense if he's going to be a little bit injured, which is what we've been kind of taking for him all series. But this number was at about 4.5 rather than the 5.5. So for him to get 5 dimes seems just a lot more likely with the amount of potentials he's getting. I mean, look, he's got 6 and 3 of them, so it's not like it's something that we've seen happen. But I'm passing on that for Joel. I'm going to look at Brunson real quick. I mean, the man's has been going just stupid. So like we can just see if there's anything. I just got to figure out how to play the numbers with Brunson. The dimes look good. I know there was talk about a double for him at plus 165. He's up to about almost 14 potential assists per game. He had 18 in one of them. So really, I think you put him at 13 potential assists is a fair number for his expectation. And then we're talking about getting 10 dimes on 13 potentials, which is what he did last game. But that is a high percentage. In the first couple, it's a lot more of the average, right? He had 12, 7, and 6 dimes on 12 potentials at about 50%, 55% of the potentials turning into assists. That's a likely number that we can kind of hang our hats on a lot more than we can with anything else in terms of like, yeah, that what he might do. This 13 out of 18 potentials, that's gonna be a little bit different. That was a game that he just went clean the hell off, as we know. But double plus 165, it's a pretty good return on your money there. Let's look at his. I mean, assists in general. That's the part that scares you, right? Obviously, the boards aren't necessarily what you consider a part of the double for him, but the points, 33.5. He's back up to shooting in these last 2 games. His field goal percentage was 48 and 53, right? First 2 games were complete anomalies, 31% for Jalen and 28% from the field. That's not the Jalen Brunson that has saved Knicks fans from wanting to kill themselves. We got Daft in here talking about RA for him as well. We can look at that from the COVID King for the rebounds and assists combined, although the rebounds don't make me very excited. I want to look at his shots real quick. So let's assume he's going to play about 42, 43 minutes once again to try to close this thing out and not have to go back to Philly. The field goal attempts in this series are up at 29, dog. So if he makes half of those, he's basically at 28 points right there, just from 2, right? And he's been shooting 50%. Let's say in this last game, it was 48 and 53. So I mean, 50% is about what you might be able to project him at. So let's do this real quick. 29 field goal attempts is his average. I think that's a fair average to expect, 28 to 29. If he makes 13 field goals, he's at 26 if none of them are from 3, right? But he's taken 8, 7 threes. He's at about 7 threes per game in this series, shooting 25.5%, which is bad, obviously, and compared to what he's normally shooting on the season. So 2 threes, yeah, I mean, this is still at 33.5 points. I'm still not scared of Brunson getting that with the way that he's been scoring. And the amount of shots he's taking more than anything. Like, this dude is going to have the ball. He has the most touches in the league in general. So taking overs for Brunson is always going to be a decent play. It's so damn high. And I didn't take it when it was at like 29.5 that I'm like, Jesus, am I still going to take this at 30? And it's 34.5 in some spots for better juice. Like, maybe we just put a little bit on Brunson to get 40, which is plus 221. Honestly, like, they're over. Yeah, for him to get 34. So let's see. I mean, we still get minus 115 for the over 33.5. I'm playing Brunson. I'm not missing out anymore on just watching Brunson go absolutely insane. I don't know why I would do that. I'm taking the points once again. Just the amount of shots alone. Like, I'm doing it. I've already messed up not betting on him the last 2 games after the positive regression was bound to come. So I'm putting Brunson in here, and I'm doing a little bit of a small ladder. So I'm putting 0.5 on over 33.5 points. That's minus 115 on DK for 0.5 units. And then I'm laddering that, my little ladder emoji in here, up to 40 as well. 40 plus points is plus 221. I want to see what that is on DK real quick and see if I'm messing that up. But the alt points for JB, Jalen Brunson, let me see real quick. Alt points right here, JB. 40 is plus 165 here. It's got to be better on FanDuel, right? Let me look at FanDuel. Pull that so I make sure I'm at least shopping the 40-point prop between the 2 main books that people I know have. 76ers, Knicks. Let me go to more. Give me all this. Let me go to more wagers inside FanDuel and look at 40 plus for JB. Yeah, plus 290. That's such a better disparity that it's like already I know that I feel so much better about that. Just in EV alone, I love that bet. So 40 plus is plus, wow, 290. That's sick on FanDuel. I'm putting point 2 units on that. Little 20 bucks for those of y'all following along. Everything's rolling on the bottom line right now. For those of y'all that are new, jump in those comments. Let me know if you got a bet. I'm gonna go make sure I'm not missing anything. Rebounds can't be at 8.5 for McBride. That's gotta be wrong, Dave. There's no way that's right. Let me keep looking. We got an OG bet in here too. Brunson RA, I'm just gonna look at real quick because we had the DAF previews in the comments bringing it up. Got to look at that. Hopefully he's driving safely and looking at the road and not and the screen while we're talking. I'm still on Brunson. My bad. Rebounds and assists. Sheesh, 12.5. Looking at a lot of green against this team. Let me take off the playoffs. This season against this squad, he's now over 1, 2, 3, 4 in the playoffs, and then half of the games during the regular season, right? So he went over 16, 14, then under in a couple of them. And the ones at the beginning, too, had Jalen Julius Randle in there. So 12.5 means we do need him to get the 8.5 assists over that, right? So it's a good look. I'm going to stick with the points for JB in this one because I loved it. I love the 40 plus that we get such good juice there. Damn, look at that. That's called value, bro. We got someone here talking about I took OG for a double-double last game, and now it's gone way down to plus 500 for the double-double on OG. That was a little bit of an outlier, was it not, for Mr. Anunoby? Let me pull him up. Yeah, because his rebounds is back down to 6.5, 14 boards last game. And let's look at rebound chances for OG. I'm going to change this. We already have that up on NBA Advanced Stats. You go to players, tracking data, rebounding. I'm going to be putting out a video too that's just like a little short about exactly how to use this stuff when you're looking at rebounds. But this is how we make sure that we're seeing what the capacity for his boards is. So he has 10.3 in the series on average, and I'd be willing to bet because right now I'm in the Game 3 box score on NBA Advanced Stats. So I'm going to go to tracking data inside the box score. That's another great way to see what that stuff is. Let me music too. So player tracking for OG last game, 20 rebound chances logged. So right here we have Isaiah Hartenstein with a ton of fouls in this last game that really helped his minutes go down. OG played 47 minutes. Golly. So he's going to keep playing that amount of minutes because he's the dude guarding Max, which we know. So when we look at minutes and we're like, why would this dude keep getting minutes? We can go to OG's defensive matchups and see that he's on Tobias. Okay, my bad. He wasn't guarding Maxey last game. Who was guarding Maxey more last game? See, they had him on Maxey earlier in the series. But it looks like, this is also what I love. I got Miles tonight on the points. And the fact that Miles took over and was the main defender on Maxey for the whole game, for most of the game, that does mean that they might try to mirror his minutes a little bit more with Maxey, which makes all the Miles McBride overs a lot better of a play, assuming he's going to keep getting a ton of minutes, right? So keep that in mind. The thing of we were finishing up. My bad. We were finishing up OG rebounds. OG rebounds, you really got to assume. Let me see what so he had 20 in this last game. He's averaging 10, right? So that means on the other games, he's probably at about 8 or 9 rebound chances per game. This feels like a pretty big anomaly. So I'm going to stay away from OG on the boards, just so you know. And yeah, they put OG on Embiid a bunch too. Let me see what you're talking about there. Pulling up OG defense. Yeah, they had him on Embiid, you're right, for 5 minutes, almost as much as he was playing Tobias. And that seemed to be working too and bothering Joel a lot. 5 points in those 5 minutes of him guarding him, and only 1 for 6 from the field. Wasn't even really able to take those threes. He wasn't really able to get down low and big boy him, it looks like. So that was probably a good look, especially if he's a little bit hurt and still has that migraine. So OG being out there, I guess that does increase his rebound chances. Let me look at one more thing. So in this last game, can we see if I go back to tracking data inside of the box score? So it doesn't give me, let me do it this way. I can find how far his average rebound distance was. Let me do last game for OG and just bring up this last game here on NBA Advanced Stats. Now you can see he had 20 rebound chances. 7 feet was his average board. So that's, a little bit further away from the basket than like right down low where Joel might be playing when he's trying to guard him. But they pretty much kept Joel away from the rim is what happened. So that's another reason that I would be scared of Joel points in general is I don't know what to expect from the big man tonight with his injury and all that. But I think, OG on the rebound straight up, 6.5 or plus money. There is a 5.5 or minus 174. On the season, let's do with the Knicks, which is basically last 30. He's at about 4.5. So, and that was in 35 minutes. So we're giving him another 10 minutes tonight for his projection. Let's do it that way. Let's put OG real quick into this for the boards. I'm gonna put OG. This is linked in Discord now under NBA betting tools or betting tools in general. I definitely highly recommend anybody that's in the Discord go in there to betting tools channel and get this up. And there's real clear cut instructions. I know I'm making y'all read and look at graphs, but like this is how we make sure we got an edge. So rebounds at this is OG rebounds 6.5. The under odds are minus 144, and the over odds are plus 116. Under was minus 144, over was 116. His minutes average with this squad was 35.5 when he played with the Knicks during the regular season. The prop average for him, and let me make this a little bit bigger so it's easy to read, 150. The prop average for OG was, what do we say? It wasn't even close, actually. 4.6 boards with this squad. So I still think it's just such an anomaly that I don't know that it's going to make that big a difference. Now, if you think he's going to keep guarding Joel and you think that's the reason that he had so many rebound chances, all right, I'm not necessarily ready to make that proclamation without a bigger sample size of just one game, right? So projected minutes in this one, I'm still going to give him 44 minutes, bro. Like he gone over that consistently. Prob to the under is still way higher at 44 minutes already, right? 59%. Even if I give the book under at minus 144, let me go into my odds calculator. This is where I got to get my implied odds. So basically the odds here of plus 116, that gives me there's an implied odds that comes with that, meaning this is what we're projecting the percentage likelihood that this happens. So if I put minus 144, that's like the book saying they give this a 59% chance of coming true that he goes under this bet. So I'm putting that 59% in the under tab right here, and in the over tab I'm putting the 116, which is implied odds of really low. So when they say, hey, we're going to give you plus 116 back on your money to hit this bet, they're saying we think this bet has a 46% chance of happening. So what I'm comparing is the actual probability of this happening with projections with the books implied, and that doesn't give me an edge, right? Minus 11% to the over, even though he's done it in this series once. Look at the other games in this series, and he has not gone over this number, and then all of a sudden he has a 14 pop. Like, chill on just assuming that that's going to be the norm moving forward. That's kind of where I'm at with OG boards. So let's see. Appreciate you, Donnie. Yeah, yesterday was a good call with D White. And then I was scared to tell people to take it at 13.5. For some reason, I took it at 12.5. Hopefully y'all didn't listen to that. And we're just like, nah, he already said it. So I'm taking it. So I got to pass on the OG boards. I hate to do it. I mean, the points might get a few more shots up just because of the minutes alone. But I think we project him at 44 minutes. If you like the rebounds at that amount, cool. My little betting model tool here says, nah, don't go for it. So, all right, let me see. Yeah, I'm going back to a couple other bets that are on the bottom line. Everything that's on the bottom line is either a bet you can tell, or it's going to be have the upcoming soon thing. So let's look at we got Brunson out of here. Let me look at Maxey and Josh Hart, and we can move on to a couple other games. And I'll come back to this one if we want. It's only 6:10 p.m. here, so we're still good to go. I'll pull up. I said we also had a Batum under rebounds look, and I'm wondering what that was about. Under at 4.5 is a little bit troublesome. Let me pull up the potential rebounds here for the Philly 76ers again. This is inside players tracking rebounding. So if you go to NBAadvancedstats.com, you can go and you can change teams stats to player stats. You can change traditional or whatever you have here, general to tracking data. And then you can look at different tracking metrics like how many times they drive, catch and shoot, how many times what their passing numbers are, all that. So for rebounding for the 76ers in the playoffs, let me get rid of last game. We're looking at Batum here. 9 rebound chances in 27 minutes. I don't think you expect too much less from Batum in the minutes column there. I think he's still a good bet to get a ton of minutes. 10 rebound chances, we said, or 9 rebound chances rather, with to get 5 for plus money. That ain't too bad. On the season with this squad, he was averaging 4 in 25.5 minutes. So it's still about the same minutes. You can't really look at a giant uptick for him. Let me see who he's guarding real quick inside this last game for Batum. This is game 4. The Knicks won, you'll remember. Nicolas Batum was guarding Jalen Brunson when he was in there. That's right. Yeah. So they do like him as a secondary Jalen defender, which doesn't necessarily help his rebounds because Jalen's the guy taking the shots. So if your man is the one taking the shots, you're not always in position to get the rebound unless it bounces right back to you. Probably what happened in this last one. If I go to back to the tracking data for Batum in this game, he had 10 rebound chances, about what he's averaging, right? 10 rebound chances in this last game, and he pulled down 7 of them. It's not something I want to just have to rely on. At 4.5, though, you might get. Let me just put it in here real quick because I thought that was an interesting look for Batum on the rebounds. Batum rebounds 4.5. The under odds are minus a lot, minus 142. We can get plus 116 though on the over. I can even get minus 139 is what it said. Minus 139 for the under, plus 116 for the over. Minutes average on the season was 25.5. The average was 4.1. Right, that's what we said. 4.2. On the average prop there. So 4.2 rebounds. And then projected minutes tonight, we'll still give him 26. I think that's a fair projection. It's about what he's at. So you're not going to get it's not a high probability to the over, but at plus 114, real quick, let's see what those implied odds are. 47% is the implied odds and the for the over, and the under at minus 139 is still going to be about 59%. I'll just put that in here for now. So no edge to either way. Yeah, there's no edge to Batum the way that they have this stuff priced. So can't take that. Looking at Maxey, like I have been promising, the call was for some points, maybe some assists, and make sure I'm not missing anything. Make sure I'm not missing what y'all are putting in here. Definitely want to jump in with some stuff. Yeah, a little bit of sweat for the RA for JB. I see y'all talking about that. All right, let me pull up Maxey points. All right, on the season, we're at 26. In this game, it's at 25.5. On the season, he's averaging 38 minutes with 20 shots. In the playoffs, he's averaging 43 minutes with 21 shots. So just about one more shot per game for him in the playoffs versus the regular season. And it's not like we can just automatically extrapolate it and just use it that way. But he's also not shooting quite as well against this Knicks squad, which is always going to be tough for him as a tough matchup. As we saw, now he's got Miles McBride on him for a lot of this, which is really interesting. The threes, I mean, with Joel, he's good for about 3 threes a game. With this 3-point prop at 3.5, or it's juiced all the way down from 2.5. So for him to make 4 isn't really. I'm not on that. For the points at 21 shots per game. So if he makes and he's shooting in the playoffs, he's at 45.5%. That feels about right. 45.5% of 21. Well, I can already tell you because it's right here. It's about 10, right? So that gets him to about 20. Make 3 of those threes, so you add an extra point for 3 of them, so he's at 23 right there. And what's his free throws at? 4 free throw attempts, and he's making all of them. So that gets you right to about 27 on average if he shoots 45% in this game. We're getting minus 108 for him to do that. I don't think that the betting model is going to give us much of an edge for Tyrese at this point, unless you just think he's going to take a few more shots because of no Joel. But honestly, for Maxey, let me pull up Maxey real quick this season. This isn't a 1-to-1, but I'm on StatMuse just as a really good place to get like splits and really quick info. Tyrese Maxey with and without Joel Embiid this season. And he is at a few more minutes, just 1 more point without Joel. So even if Joel is not himself, that doesn't necessarily mean Maxey goes up in anything. In fact, he goes down in assists because he takes a few more shots, takes 3 more shots per game. But he's hella less efficient, 5% worse from deep and 3% worse from the field overall in his field goal percentages. So we don't really like Maxey without Embiid. And with Embiid hobbled and not necessarily looking like himself yet, I'm not there with it. Justin, we have not yet looked at Mo rebounds. Let me put him in here because we have to look at that other game in a minute as well. Let me put Moritz Wagner, Mo Rebs. I'll put it in here as well. Yeah. I do like looking at Maurice Wagner props. All right. I got to pass on Maxey. I think for the dimes, I get wanting to take the dimes. Minus 142, though. See, last game it was 6.5 for plus money. Now it's 5.5 for trash odds back on your money. I can't. Like he's averaging about 6, but actually he's averaging fewer without Joel. And I know Joel's probably going to give it a go in this game. I'm just not of the opinion he's going to be very stronger himself. So I'm gonna pass on Maxey stuff, to be honest. The rebounds are a little bit more intriguing. Let me take playoffs off. He's averaging 3.8 on the season. He needs to get 4, and that's in. So he's getting a few more minutes. In this series, he's gone over in 3 of 4, actually pretty comfortably. What were his rebounding numbers? He's at Yeah, he's only at 9 rebound chances per game. He's averaging 5. Yeah, 4. That's not a bad look for Maxey on the board. Does anything change for him without Joel? I'm back on Stat News. The exact same amount of rebounds with and without Joel. So this is a bit of a toss-up, to be honest. Let me see if there's anything to it. Oh, it's minus 144. Nah, I'm already out on the 3.5. Yeah, it's 4.5. And the only place to get 3.5, you got to eat minus 144 is the juice you got to drink. So it's no longer worth it. If it was like closer to minus 105, 110 in that range, for him to go over on the boards, I think that would be a really good look. But we're going to pass on Maxey boards and pretty much Maxey everything. So I'm going to move that, and then I'm going to look at Jay Hart real quick. So if you see a hand up emoji next to the bet, then it's something that we passed on already. All right. J8 15 boards today. Is that Jared Allen? He's questionable though, Dap. Just so you know, I just want to point that out to you. Let me finish up this Knicks game because I can tell people want to get to the Cavs and Magic, which is a sentence I never thought that I would say, but people want to get to the Cavs and Magic, so let's get it. Looking at, and don't forget, if you did miss what I said earlier, Precious Achiuwa, I'm going to put that on the bottom line as a strong lean. But if you want to hit it now, it makes sense because for Precious, if there is no Mitch Robb in this game, Isaiah Hartenstein's going to get into foul trouble at some point, or he's going to need a breather against Joel from getting mauled by that giant man. So I'm going to put Precious in here over 3.5 rebs, and I can just buy out of that probably if I need to, but over 3.5 rebs. We're going to put that. It's a minus 105 on FD, right? BetMGM rather on MGM. That's 0.5 units for right now, but we want to see what happens with Mitch Robb. I'm just going to write that in here. Lean, dependent, Mitch Robb status. All right, hopefully that's clear for y'all. That's on the bottom line as well for Precious, because I want to make clear that that was a look that I had in the event that Mitch Robb is out. We saw what he did last game. I also love Miles McBride as we're finishing this game up. I took a couple other bets. Miles McBride in this game. I took Kelly Oubre over points and rebounds. I think the points is a great bet. The juice has dropped and it's gone up to like 13.5 now. So that's a little bit frustrating, but either way, I'm already there with Kelly O. And then I took Kyle Lowry over on the assists as well. But if you want Kyle Lowry on anything, it's good. Dave, yeah, that's what I'm talking about with Maxey. Is like it's minus 140 for Maxey boards. Otherwise, I think it's a great bet for him to get 4 boards tonight. But for him to get 5, a little bit dicier. I would actually take it at 4.5 over for Maxey boards before I took minus 140 for him to get over 3.5 boards. That's kind of where I'm at on it. So, yeah, that's a good point. I know for a fact Daft has been trying to get ahead of these, like, oh, this dude might be hurt and going under, and it has not worked out. You can't just automatically assume a dude's going to go under because he's questionable or whatever. If he ends up playing, he's probably okay to go. But all right, finishing up this game with Josh Hart. Everybody wants to talk about Josh Hart rebounds, as always. One of the reasons, if I go back into rebound chances, I go into players tracking data on NBA Advanced Stats. I can see if I change this to New York Knickerbockers, I'm going to get their stats in the playoffs. And Josh Hart is at 21.5 rebound chances in these 4 games. The reason this is not, this is a true number, not fallible or as something that you think is flimsy. The rebound chances for Josh Hart versus this team all season have been dumb. So 21.5 in the playoffs in 4 games. If I go to Knicks regular season versus Philly, and I pull that up for the Knicks players' rebound chances, I'm going to see Josh Hart at 23 in the 4 games that he played in the regular season. So he's averaging 21 to 23 rebound chances in 8 games versus this team this season. That ain't a fluke. That's what he does. If you look at Josh Hart on Courtside Pal as well, this is going to be link in the description, but Courtside Pal is a great tool, maker of Ballpark Pal, I believe, right, is the baseball one. The dude has some really, really good data. This is team rank in the defense versus player type, not player position, which is why we love it. So if I go to rebounds for Jay Hart, and I change this to rebounds, and I go to the rebounding profile for him, 5th most against Philly. And the reason for that is everybody needs to box out Joel. And so the centers for the opponent against Philly are not necessarily available to get the rebound because they're so busy boxing out dude. So let me see if there was another alert here. So now Jay Allen's a legit game time decision. God damn. That's insane, bro. That'd be crazy. So I don't know what it's a little bit more of an under for me with Jared Allen. Let me finish the point here about Jay Hart though. So for Jay Hart, what was the look that I just saw you put in there? Josh Hart triple double sprinkle. Here's the other thing about Josh Hart. If he comes out and has like 10 boards hella quick, he's gonna go for that triple double. So that's not a bad look at all. What's his triple dub at? Let me pull up my prop finder and see what the best number for Josh Hart is. The link to this is also in. I like this prop finder tool like the most, honestly. I know I work for this company, thelines.com. You contribute a show to them and some articles each week. But this is also a really good one, I'm not gonna lie to you, because it has stuff like the double and whatnot. So pulling up the double for Jay Hart. This triple double, I'm sorry, plus 1,800 on FanDuel. I like a little plus 1,800. The assists have not been there for him this series, right? He got it in the first game. He got the triple double in the first game, didn't he? Yeah, 19, and then he had the 20 points. He went bonkers. So the assists are at 4.5 now. He did get it last game. Look at his potentials at 10. Yeah, he's at about 10 potentials legit in this series. I'd say 9 to 10 legit potential assists. That's the only one you worry about, right? Like Josh Hart double is kind of a lock. I mean, he's 12.5 boards as his prop means that like the double at minus 175 is already a pretty good look for Jay Hart. I think for him to get, I mean, even if you like parlay 10 boards and like 15 points, I believe that was a look in here as well. I think that's a pretty good look. But yeah, plus 1,900 for him to get the triple double is a pretty good sprinkle right there. If y'all want that, I don't hate it at all. It's mostly the assists that make you worried about it, because he had 15 when he got potentials when he got 10 earlier this series. Now he's way down up here, and in part that's because Jalen Brunson is shooting a lot better. Like when Jay Brunson was shooting like trash, it was a little bit more likely that they needed to find other ways to score than just his one-on-one pick and roll stuff. So yeah, I think the ceiling for Josh Hart, like legit, I think the 4.5 is actually not a bad play, which means the rebounds and assists is 16.5. I think the assist isn't a bad play alone. I mean, the rebounds are always a good play. Even at 12.5, you're starting to push it. No cap. Like that's getting a little bit crazy. At the same time, if guys like Mitch Rob are not able to go, I still put those rebounds in Precious's hands. So I can't keep playing Josh Hart at 12.5. Once this is at 10.5 or 11.5, even, it's a little bit more of a go for me. But yeah, let me the last 30 for Jay Hart. I don't have playoffs up. 11 boards per game. I mean, I know head to head he's usually good for this, but even head to head during the regular season in 41.2 minutes versus team on average, he's getting the damn near 48. I mean, he's not a bad rebound prop, bro. If you want to take Josh Hart, I'm gonna pass on that for now. But if you want Josh Hart rebounds, that's the play. A little sprinkle on the triple double never hurt anybody. You put like a little $10 on it. I don't see any problem with that. To make like $200 back, it's a pretty nice return right there. So I'm gonna pass on Josh Hart stuff, but I'm not saying that. That's mostly because I've already got a couple bets from that game and don't need to be going too crazy. So all right, everything is still up on the bottom line. If you need it, make sure you check that out. And then I didn't make a decision on Tobias Harris. I passed on Tobias for the rebounds, even at the 7.5. I'll finish on that and move to this Cleveland game. But for Tobias, where I was at with the rebounds was strictly he's at about 13 rebound chances, right? Was that what we said for this series? My bad. Let me pull back up. We're just going to playoffs. Philly, making this all teams. Now we're in the playoffs. Tobias is at about 13 rebound chances per game. 13.3 to get 7 with no juice. Right now it's 6.5 for minus 128. Not terrible, actually. I think if you take minus 128, you're probably still getting a good number. There's nothing that I could put into the model that would help me with that necessarily. There's not going to be a big enough edge at minus 128 for the over on the boards. But if you want to do over 7.5 or just like alt that shit up to like, if you can get 9+ or something like that, maybe it's one of those plays where I'm like, screw it. If he's going to get it, then I'm just going to take him to get the alt line there for the rebounds and go for it, right? So, all right, let me move on to the Cleveland Orlando game, and I can come back to this if you want at some point if someone has a really good bet to look at. But I went under on the points, rebounds, and assists for Gary Harris. I don't know that y'all can really rely on an over for JA in this game if he's going to be legit injured. So, hold up, I want to see what Mike had to say real quick. Just looked up since Joel been back April 2nd. Videos only was scored below their team total once. That was game 1 at the Garden. 76 team total. Their team totals are 100.5. Interesting, yeah. So I think the team total I think the over and the team total over for Philly is probably a good look as they go through this. I don't know what kind of Joel I'm getting, so I don't know how much I can bank on the numbers that since having him back, they continuously go over, but they obviously score a bunch more with him than without him. And the 100.5 team total against a Knicks team at the Garden, we'll see. It's going to be raucous. It's not a bad look at all. Moving to this Cleveland-Orlando game. First of all, like, or Cleveland looks like dog shit. Just pure and utter trash from this team at this point. Donnie's probably hurt. JB Bickerstaff is not a good basketball coach. For those of y'all that follow coaching and schemes, not a good basketball coach, not a good rotations coach, not a good in-game adjustments coach. Just a dude that puts his 5 guys out there that he thinks are the best on the floor and says, go for it. So there's nothing to see. There's a huge coaching edge, let me put it that way, for Jamal Mosley, who I think was up for Coach of the Year before Mark Daigneault won it for the Thunder. But for Jay Allen, in these last couple games, let me pull up the last 2 here. So I'm going to change the rebounding chances on player tracking data here to Cleveland. I'm going to do these last 2 games where he's gone under this prop with 9 and 8 boards. He's down to 14.5 rebound chances. Now, at the same time, what we got to consider is rebound chances are also dependent on the other team missing. Orlando just went from missing everything to making everything, right? Let me pull up that real quick. If we look at Orlando in the first 2 games, I'll just look at real quick the box score. So at home, where they scored 112 and 121, they shot this as effective field goal percentage under advanced, so it's just a little bit more accurate. They shot a 63.5% effective field goal percentage last game. If you go to the game before, they scored, I think it was, they hit like another 63% or something like that. I'm in the box score here of game 3, where they also went bananas. I'm pulling up my effective field goal percentage, which is just a helpful way to have to not look at field goal and 3-point separately. It combines them into one stat of effective field goal percentage. So overall, their shooting was a 58% effective, right? And on the season, by the way, the best shooting team was the Indiana Pacers at 57% effective field goal. So this Magic team was shooting. They basically left their bodies and started shooting like they were the 7 seconds or less Suns back in the day. That's not what you expect from them moving forward. So there should be a few more rebound chances for him, as opposed to the first 2 games, where if you even just look at game 2, where they scored 86 points for the Magic, and you look at that, another game where Jay Allen was just getting board after board after board, the effective field goal percentage for the Magic in that game was 42%, which I just told you that would have been far and away the worst on the season. So they've got to shoot somewhere in the middle, which means Jay Allen probably is more likely to be at 17, 18 rebound chances, as opposed to the 23 to 30 that he had when they missed every shot, and the 14.5 that he had when they made every shot. He also only played 26.5 minutes in these last 2 because of the blowout. So you've got to give him about 18 rebound chances. That's where I put him at. On 18 rebound chances, do you think he gets 13? That's the question. If that's what my projection is, like I said, 18 rebound chances, then looking at his, let me take out the last 2 games. His rebound chance percentage was 59% basically in these last 2. And in the first 2, it was 61%, right? So put him at about 60%. I think that's fair, like 58 to 60% of that. So 50, let's see here real quick. If I'm putting him at 18 rebound chances times the 58%, 0.58, that would be 10.5 boards. That's all I'm saying. And that's how many I would put him at. Because I like I said, if you just take the averages here and assume that Orlando's not going to shoot as well as they did in the last 2, and they're not going to shoot as poorly as they did in the first 2, you got to take an under for Jared Allen, because now he's at 18 rebound chances in, let's give him 32 minutes, right? What did he play in the first 2 of this series? He played 35 and 39 minutes, right? And then in the next 2, 24 and 29, because it was blowouts. So if you're going to give him that amount of minutes, I still think he's probably at about in between this. I think you probably put him at about 11 boards, to be honest. On the season, real quick, just using those numbers, 10.7 rebounds a game in 32 minutes. You see what I'm saying? And this is still a really good rebounding team. So I'm going under for Jay Allen. I hope y'all don't hate me for that, but I think the under for Jared Allen rebounds is a good look here. This might sound stupid. Now, if Orlando comes out and shoots like dog crap, then that's the fear. And it's minus 138 to the under. Okay, so then I'm out. Yeah, this is juiced way too much. If this was a minus 110 deal, we're back on track. But no, this is a pass for me on the Jared Allen rebounds. I would be careful, y'all, with taking over on Jay Allen rebounds today, mostly just because of the amount of shots that I don't expect this team to miss moving forward. Like, that's crazy. So let me look at, we've also got Mo rebounds. Actually, I want to look at Franz first. Let me look at the other Franz brother, the other Wagner brother, Franz Wagner. And we'll look at PRA and everything for him because everybody's talking about that. I'm going to put Jarrett Allen as a pass for me on here. So when you see the hand up emoji after after the player prop, that means that I passed on it. So everything's on the bottom line right now for those of y'all that are still jumping in. Subscribe to that page if you would. Quick reminder, really helpful. Liking the video also goes a long way as I bring you these live streams every day, 5:30 on the East Coast. I'm looking at the better Franz brother, even though Mo has been good to us this series. Actually, Franz has too, because we've been taking his under on points, to be honest with you. Looking at his rebounds real quick for Franz, 13 last game, and he's gone over this twice, 3 out of the 4, actually. And in game 3 here, how many minutes did he have in game 3 where they won by a lot? He played 30 minutes, which is below what he's going to play because it was a blowout. I don't think we're going to see a blowout in this game, but we haven't seen a good game in this series yet. And it does track that Orlando's way better at home than they are on the road, to be honest with you. Just looking at the splits of both these teams real quick, if there's anything to the fact that the home team has just dominated in this series, I'm going to pull up Orlando and Cleveland on their team home pages on the stat stuff. Looking at home and away splits, yeah, it makes sense that both these teams sucked on the road and were really good at home because that's what they did during the regular season. 4 more points per game is a big deal for Cleveland on the road. If we make this advance so we can look at their rating rather than just the points, 5 points per 100 better on offense when they're at home versus when they're on the road. Same thing for Orlando. They scored 4 more points at home than they did on the road. Their field goal percentage at home was 2 points better. 1 more 3 that they're making on the road. So like it does add up and that does track. But Orlando can't possibly be that bad. They cannot moving forward the way that they were in the first 2 games. Like I just can't see it happening. So we got to get everything back to the averages. So then we predict all of that is a long-winded way to say we predict Franz at 37 minutes, 37, 38 minutes, played 39 even in a blowout in the last game. So we predict him at about 37 minutes. The rebound chances for Franz going to this Magic team inside of player tracking data. I'm going to pull up the Orlando Magic instead of the Cavs real quick and look at rebound chances. And Franz is second, right, at 12 in this series right now. 12 rebound chances to get 7. He's averaging the 8, and he had 13 last game. But even if you take that out, let's say you put him at about the average here, and you put him at about 8 or so, still a pretty good number at plus 106. That is not bad at all, to be honest. During the regular season, let me take the playoffs off. He only averaged 5.5 boards during the regular season, and that was in 32.5 minutes. But that's not a straight comparison necessarily. Let me pull him up on Courtside Palace, see if there's anything to him getting more rebounds. This is Franz boards. I just want to see if there's anything for the PRA because I know that was one of the bets that was requested here about Franz was PRA. So just to look at the rebounds first and get this out of the way. Against Cleveland, actually, he's a pretty good rebounding position against Cleveland. This is his player profile, his rebounding profile against Cleveland. Like basically, he's not matched up with Evan Mobley or Jared Allen, so he's a lot more likely to get boards. Let's see who was marking him and vice versa real quick. In this last game for Franz, his main match, he was guarding, let's see, Max Strus. And I believe that's who's guarding him as well, right? If we put Franz on offense, we got Strus. Yeah, so they're guarding each other. He's probably a better rebounder than Max Strus. I like the Courtside Pal telling us that he is a good rebounder. I like that he's got the 12 rebound chances per game. Cleveland did shoot really badly in Orlando, so I think that though right at about 7 is probably what you guess is going to happen in this one. Plus 106 though, I think that's worth a sprinkle. Let me look at the assists again. This was a popular bet because he just went under in the first 2 games. Despite the fact that he had 13 potential assists in each of the first 2 games, he still went over. Then in these last 2, he's gone over, actually averaging about 10 potential assists. So fewer potentials, but still getting over in those games. And once again, that is because if you get an assist, you need your players and your teammates to make the shots, right? So if he is going to have a much better shooting game from his team, it's a lot more likely that he gets those assists. But let's see, 4.5 for plus money or 3.5 for terrible money. And if we add it to the points, he's only gone over the 20.5 once. That I don't like. I do not like over for his points, I'll be honest with you. So now I'm looking at RA, aren't I? That's kind of what I'm saying. 10.5 at minus 104. On the season, he averaged 9. Against this team, he's averaging 10 this year. In the playoffs, he's basically butted up against it and then went over when his teammates could actually make shots and help him with the assists. So I kind of like the rebounds and assists as the play for Franz. I don't know if that was brought up specifically, but I do like. I'm not on the points for Franz. I'm off of that. many shots has he been taking? 17, 17, 12, 15. He needs to get into the teeth of the defense to score. Like, I'm going to pull up Props Madness real quick because that is that awesome tool by Pip, who I'm going to have back on the show soon, I promise. But if we look at Franz and we look at the reason I like Props Madness, link in the description of the video if you want to use it. The reason I like it is because it shows us, where's Franz at? It shows us shot charts and defensive shot charts. So you can see for Franz a couple things. One, he shoots 54 plus 20. Basically, 3/4 of his shots are inside the paint, right? And then everything else is above the break. If you look at Cleveland, they're the 7th best team above the break on defense. They're the 5th best team inside the paint outside the restricted area and 11th best inside the restricted area. And this is how he scores all his points. If you look at him and how he scores mostly off of pick and roll ball handler or trying to get to the free throw line by getting to the rim, off of drives and things of that nature. And this is not a team that you're going to get buckets off of doing that. So I do not like the points at 20.5. He's gone under more than he's gone over in this series. And that's the play for me, is under 20.5 points for him if you're playing that. Although that juice is probably bad. Minus 122 is not bad. For under 20.5, minus 122 ain't bad at all. I would go under on the points for Franz. I would go over on the RA for Franz at minus 104. Of course, we do need his team to not suck once again. But you get a really good number here at minus 104 on FanDuel. So I'm going to take that for half a unit because that is worth it to me. So I'm going to put that on the bottom line. And I'll look at the other Wagner brother next. So that's going to go alongside. Let's do Franz over 10.5 RA. That's terrifying, to be honest with you. I think the under points is really not terrifying at all for Franz. That might actually be my preferred bet, even at the juice of minus 122 as I'm thinking about it. And it's not going to work to put it in the model with the numbers that we have. It's just not going to help. So, I'm going to do both. I'm going to do both because I like the minus 104 for half a unit on FD for the over 10.5 rebounds and assists, 0.5 U there. And then I'm going to go Franz under 20.5 points, minus 122 on which book is that? Minus 122 on the under points for Franz is FanDuel. So I still think that's still a good look at with the price point that you got to pay. 0.5 units on a couple Franz Wagner bets. Got him in there. We'll take a quick look at Mo. I passed on Jared Allen, but lean strongly to the under for Jared Allen rebound tonight at 12.5. PRA for Franz, not like, I mean, if I like the over on the RA and the under on the points, PRA is probably a preferred under, but it's not quite a bet for me. I see a Karis LeVert bet in there too from Adriano. We can look at that. Oh, we got a Wendell Carter 10 rebounds, eh? Let's look at some stuff there too. Okay, and we thank you for this. We got Mitch Robb listed to play. You can pass on my Precious Achua bet. At this point, Precious will not be seeing minutes, and now I'm going to take that down. So hopefully you didn't play that. If anything, it might have been a good under if he's not going to get minutes. But Mitch Robb could always get hurt in this game. I'm not going to mess around with that and try and get cute with that stuff. All right, I'm looking at Mo real quick because I do like playing Mo, and I stayed away from him on the road. But at home, he might not be a bad play. Let's look at Mo Vag. Moritz, he's at 8.5 points. This was 5.5 back in the day. You'll remember. Let me pull up one of my favorite sites too, Betting Pros, because Betting Pros is going to show me recent prop lines, right? So I'm going to pull up on here. This is a link that I have right here. It's going to be Nas Reed as the dude that I bookmarked it with. But this is a direct link to the prop finder, the prop bet analyzer with recent numbers. I'm going to type in Moritz to get his points. Like, I just want to show you what the recent lines were. So yesterday's price is not today's price. It's 8.5. All right, it was 9.5 in Cleveland. I guess he did go over that one. I'm sorry, at home it was 9.5, and he did worse. So yeah, Mo's playing better on the road right here. But 9.5 or 8.5 is still kind of high when we were getting it at 7.5 at the beginning of the series. And the rebounds for Mo, you said 4.5, right? For Mo's boards, something he's been doing frequently. The problem is the minutes, right? So 13, 20, 17, 15. He's got to do a lot of work and not that much time. Let's pull up Mo right here on the 10 rebound chances in 16.5 minutes is crazy. So for him to get 5 boards on 10 rebound chances, I like a lot. If we think that that's still going to happen. What happened in game 4? In game 4, he had 15 minutes. His team didn't miss, so he didn't really have as many offensive rebound chances. And Cleveland did miss, so he got a lot of defensive rebound chances. But at plus 116 and plus 124 on DraftKings, what do you average during the season? This is crazy. 4.5 during the season he might have got a few more minutes. 17.5 minutes. And now he's at about 17.5 in the playoffs, isn't he? Yeah, he's about 17 in the playoffs. So 17 plus money, that's a pretty good look, to be honest. And the points I'm now kind of out on like the PR. I was betting this at 9.5 and 10.5 for Mo earlier in the series. And now it's up to 12.5. So once again, yesterday's price is not today's price. You got to pay a little bit more if you want to take Mo's points and rebounds over. But I think that's a pretty good look, bro. Like I like the Mo rebounds at plus money. I think I'm gonna tail you on that one with a little half a unit. Plus 124, dude. That's like an alt line basically. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm with you on that. With the plus 124, we obviously need to get the minutes, but the boards are there for him and they've been there for him. So I'm gonna put that up on the stream right now for Mo. Pulling that up. Mo Wagner. Hell yeah, Mo. Let's get it. Mo Wagner, Mo rebounds. Yeah, I said it. Mo Wagner over 4.5 Reeves for plus 1.4 on DK. They are begging us to take that. Let's go with 0.3 on that to make about 0.4 or 0.5 back on my money there for Mo, just because I haven't researched it that long. I just love the plus money that I'm getting for a dude I love to back when I can. Donnie first quarter points. What's Donnie been doing, man? Let me look at Karis real quick because that came in. And then, yeah, some people like this Levert stuff. I'm not sure what y'all seeing. Let me look at that real quick, and then I can close out this game with Donnie and even Paolo. Now that Paolo's on the road, that's something I want to look at real quick. Karis Levert. Oh, wow, it's already quarter of, bro. I got to roll while I can watch this Knicks game. Sorry, y'all. I'll be in the Discord here in a minute. I know that means I'm going to be missing that other game, the later game. I'll stick around. I'll stick around and turn the game on for a minute. Just try to get through some of these. Karis LeVert threes over a half for minus 218. But you're saying 2+ for plus 150. 20. Let's put him at 25 minutes. He's been averaging the playoffs. He's only taking 3, 5, 4, 1, so 3. Ugh. I mean, 1 at minus 218 is disgusting. That's pure trash. Let me get off of this. This is making me nauseous. Sorry, I can't talk about Karis LeVert like that with the threes. I don't have any edge to that one. The Donnie Mitchell first quarter stuff. I tell you right now, I lean under on points and assists for Donnie. 30.5 points and assists still. He's gotten assists in the last 2 games, but his shooting has been abysmal. How many shots is he even taking? He took 21, 22 in the first 2, and then obviously he didn't even play enough minutes in the next 2 because they were blown the hell out. Played 36 in this last game, but that's an under for me on Donnie points and assists. I don't even know why I would go on the first quarter stuff. 6.5, is that right? I guess he has been going off in the first quarter before he dies down. Let me make sure that that's right for Donnie points in this correct game, which is Cleveland, Orlando. I'm on FanDuel directly just to make sure I'm not getting this wrong. Player points going down to first quarter for Donnie, 5.5 on FanDuel. Looks like 6.5 on probably like DraftKings or one of the other ones if you want that for better money. What's he been doing? So he got 8 in this last first quarter. He's taking 5.5 shots to get 6 points. Close. He shot really well in these first the first quarter of these first 2 games, and that's the reason he went over. And then this last game in the first quarter, 2 free throws. How do you go over? Yeah, 4 free throws in that quarter. So you're relying on him to make threes or free throws if you want him to get his points. The amount of shots that he's taking in the first quarter, that's a bit of a pass for me too. I'm a no on that. I'd be going under for Donnie PA though. That's a much better bet that I like here for the full game. Under the 30.5 points and assists. That's much more of a go, even at home where like they're going to be in elimination mode. Yeah, I got to go under for Donnie there. Let me move it to one more play. What you got, Justin? Just put it in there. We got a couple of things from this indie game. So a couple of looks to just keep in mind right now. And if you're not in the Discord, jump in there, man. The link is in the description. It's free. We got a lot of good people in there talking about bets, and that's the best way to get access to me, essentially, is like if you want to talk to me and ask me a bet, hit me up in Discord. That's the easiest way. And I'm trying to get back to pretty much everybody that just tags me in anything that they post. And then I can have some office hours and all that kind of stuff. But in this one, Everybody likes Bobby Portis points. And there's a good reason for that, which is he's going to take a ton of shots. He's coming back from getting kicked out in the early part of the game. Where Bobby Poe shoots from is going to be good against this Milwaukee Indy defense. Indy stops everything around the three-point line and nothing beneath it, right? So looking at Bobby Portis, and I'm pulling up his shot chart. So this is the opponent defense for starters. This is Indy's defensive shot chart. They are number one in limiting threes in the league from everywhere, except for this corner, they're fifth. But overall, they limit the three-pointer to the fewest attempts or makes for their opponent. If you look inside here, they're bottom 5 to 7 everywhere else inside of the three-point line. So for Bobby, he's taking 72% of his shots from inside the three-point line. That's a big part of what you like. I think he and Chris are both good for their points tonight a bit more. Now, Chris is taking some more threes than Bobby, but he still wants to live in this mid-range, and you can get a lot of whatever you want in this mid-range or right inside the paint right here, right? So that's going to be why I like Chris Middleton to get his. He's the pick-and-roll ball handler. They give up a ton of points to the pick-and-roll ball handler, and he's only going to be doing that more tonight. So I like Chris Middleton's points. If you want the assists, I'm a little bit out on the assists. I think this is going to be a good scoring game for him, a little bit more time off. For Chris to get there on these points. Trying to see real quick. Yeah, he does spot up when he's going to be the main ball handler. So he's going to get – I think you got to take the points for Chris. And I think 30 is in play as well for Middleton tonight. So I think I'm going to put that up real quick. Let me look at Middleton. I started with Bobby, but I was like, you know what? Everybody's riding Bobby tonight. He hasn't done it yet. I know that they want him to come back and come back with a vengeance, but 25.5 doesn't scare me. 30 plus, let me see what it is on FanDuel real quick. For our guy Chris, get a little ladder going for him because I still like points tonight, and that's my favorite bet from this game is over 109.5 points for the team total for the 76ers. If you look at how they've turned it around on offense, I think they'll continue to play well on offense, but this Bucks team should be scoring a few more points at home. So 30 plus for Chris tonight is plus 200 on FanDuel. I think that's a good look, honestly. What's 35 at? Plus 600. For him to get 5 more, you triple that number there for 5 more points. He hasn't done it very often. He obviously did it in that one game. What's 40? We can't even get 40 for Chris. Yeah, you can't get it all the way down to 40. You can get 30.5 here plus 270. So for him to get 31 plus, yeah, that sucks. You can't get 40. You might be able to get it on DraftKings. It's an elimination game, bro. It's all hands on deck, and there's nobody on defense for this Indy team that I'm like, oh, be scared that they're guarding him. Real quick, let's see. Chris. The assist, the thing is just because he's the main ball handler doesn't mean he's going to get dimes against this team. This team right here, if I pull up Chris on COURTSIDE PAL, which I would continue to recommend everybody use, if I look at his assists on here, and I know he's going to be more of the facilitator than he normally is, but Indy doesn't give up assists. I guess to his playmaker type they do. He's also going to be a lot more of the pick and roll ball handler, and he's going to be doing that all game, and that's not how you get points or how you get assists against this team because they don't double. That's what we've been talking about all season with the Indiana Pacers. They don't double, so you want to make sure that you take points for guys like Chris Middleton and Dame Lillard, not assists. In fact, going under on the assists is still a pretty smart play. I saw some of y'all put that out there. Minus 120, I lose the juice. I still think there's a decent chance that he gets some dimes, and this might be a little bit of a sweat if you go to the under. But I think points is what you can rely on for him. So I'm going to go over 25.5. In the last 2 games, he's taken 29, 22 shots. This was double OT, obviously, where he took 29 shots. But I think 22 is very realistic. Need him to make 11 of them, right? 50% for Middleton, and his field goal percentage is at 50% in this series. We're going for it. That's what I like. I'm gonna ladder him a little bit too. I'm gonna put Chris Middleton in here. I got all my Knicks bets in, right? Yeah, I gotta get my Brunson bet in real quick. I'll put that up while we're talking. The Chris bet here, I'm laddering him to put him alongside this team total bet that I've got. So I'm going Chris over 25.5 points. That's minus 1 for that now. 106 still. Okay, that's great. I thought it was gonna be down. Minus 106 on FanDuel. Going to put that in here on the bottom line. Minus 106 FD. Putting we're going to ladder this. So I'm going to put 0.7 on that, and then I'm going to ladder that to the 30 as well. Ladder the point. So Chris 30 plus points is going to be plus 200 on FanDuel. That's great. much better than DK. A lot of times you're going to see this FanDuel alt lines way better than these DraftKings alt lines if those are the two main books that you use. Plus 200, put 0.3 units on that. That's a go for Chris. So I can take him out right now, put him in there. I understand if you want to take the assists under for him as well. I would go under before I go over. But Middleton points is now down on the bottom line. Over 25.5 points and 30 plus points as well. Yeah, Drew Billions likes. Appreciate you being in here, bro. You always have good stuff to bring too. Brooke over 1.5 threes, right? Yeah. No, yeah. Look, the 3-point stuff for Indy is mostly just because they don't allow spot up shooters to get theirs. But Brooke is still going to be shooting from mad far away, and nobody's going to block a 7'1" dude shot when he's shooting from a 3-point from three, right? Plus, he's got the old man that you see at the rec where he comes all the way back behind his head to put that bitch up. So I do see something for the Brook, but the thing with Brook threes, and the reason I didn't put it up is because this is another situation where I'm like, yo, I'm not taking Brook Lopez minus 162 to hit 2 threes. Even in these last 2 games, he's averaging 5 and 2 threes. You know what I mean? Like in this last game, he still only averaged 5 threes. You didn't have no Dame. You didn't even have Bobby Portis. You didn't have Chris Middleton. So for me, if you think Brook is going to be chucking them, then really what it comes down to is like, well, then just take 3 threes because like put a sprinkle on 3 threes. Don't put 1.6 units for him to hit 2 or 1.3 units for him to hit 2. Like it doesn't become worth it to me with these dudes. One more thing I'll show you real quick is like Brook Lopez with and without Giannis this season. So there's been 9 games. He's played 6 fewer minutes without him. I don't believe in that at all. But he's still at about the same amount of threes. Like Giannis driving and kicking is huge for this. Chris Middleton isn't going to necessarily require the same level of like doubling and stuff that you might give to Giannis and Dame. Like Chris Middleton will be out there on an island playing by himself one-on-one, in which case I like him to take his defender. That's why I'm on Middleton points. Brook, I can't get with it. I think he will. Honestly, like you say, what's he going to do besides shoot threes? If I were him, I would for sure be going down low. If you look at Brook Lopez, now he's either shooting right around the rim or at the top of the key, right? And more so above the break. I totally get that. But if I'm him, like go down low, fam. Be 7'2" next to the basket and score on this team that can't stop a nosebleed once you get inside of the 3-point line, right? That's where I'm at with Brook is I think you have to make that play. So I say that to say the points are not a bad look for Brook Lopez. From where he's shooting and where he should be shooting from in this game. But it's not a guarantee. I think that the points are the best play for him. The rebounds, he's guarding Miles Turner, and Bobby Portis is back. So if anything, this is actually more of an under on the boards for Brook because once Bobby Portis is back, you're going to see him get a ton of boards. In fact, what's Bobby Poe's rebounds at real quick? It's mad high for a reason. This is what it was in this last game where he didn't play because he had to get into a fight, right? So I'm to stay away from me. I saw Obi talk once more. The rebounds he didn't come through with last game. The points he did, the PR, he's been pretty consistent with. That's what someone brought up too. Yeah, Obi topping 8.5 points from Steven. By the way, just to finish the point streak, I hope I answered you, bro. Like, if you're gonna take Donnie, it's first quarter points and nothing else. But that's it, and that's only because he's been doing it. So, mile high. Let's see. Obi Toppin, 8.5 points, 12.5 PR. It's just the usage. You got to get, he's 17 minutes is what I would put him at, right? So in 17 minutes, he's got to get 13 PR, which he's done in 3 of these 4 games, except for the first one. What happened in the first one? He only played 13.5. Now dude's been going off a bit more, right? So his field goal attempts are fucking high. That's crazy, dude. Bro's coming in and getting 11 shots off in 17 minutes. Like, that's what he's out there to do, and they're out there to fast break with him. He's probably a good bet to score against this team. When we put him in courtside pal, I think high flying power forwards, especially without Giannis in there, are going to be a problem for this Bucks team. If I look at him in courtside pal for his points, shooting profile, I guess not. They're actually pretty good around the rim. Yeah, they still are pretty good down low with Brook Lopez drop defense. So it's not like you're going to find much there. As far as the rebounds against Milwaukee, yeah, 4th most, right? 4th best at his rebounding profile. So if I'm looking at the boards real quick, man, he's gone pretty quickly over that. But I got to get to 4.5 at plus 140. 4.5 at plus 140. What's he doing on the season? 4 boards in 21 minutes. So it's just like, are they going to miss a ton of shots? Are they going to play that fast? It's still a bit of a gamble for me, even though he's been doing it in this series. I think the let's see, 6, 8, and 5 in those first 3 games. I think that is a little bit more of an anomaly. Real quick, I'm going to see what the rebound chances are and how they split them between these 2 teams, and we do got a dip here, so I can watch my Knicks move on to the next round, baby. Indiana Pacers in the playoffs. OB rebound chances. Oh, Miles is boarding. Good for Miles. 7.5. You see what I'm saying? Like 7.5 to pull down 5 in the amount of minutes he's getting. It's just too much of a gamble for me for OB. So I'm gonna pass on him. I'm gonna leave this stuff scrolling on the bottom line. I know we wanted to look at Hallie as well. Malik Beasley should be getting stuff, but Malik Beasley is a 3-point shooter that relies on spot up, and that's what this team stops, by the way. So I'm just to make clear, I'm passing on OB. If anything, I would take the points because his shots are ridiculously high. So that was the original question, was the points, and I get that. Are they bad on? They've been good at limiting fast break points. Has the Bucks, and OB wants to get his stuff. If you look at his tendencies, he's either in the spot up or he's in transition, right? And Milwaukee's been much better at getting back on defense in transition. So maybe not in this series. Obviously, in this series, he's still kind of getting his. So if you think he's still going to get his on that, yeah, the points is a much better play. That's like a no-brainer for sure. I'm off the rebounds with the amount of rebound chances he's gotten, even though that looks a little bit better if you look at recent numbers. It's still a pass for me on the rebounds. If you're going to take a bet for OB, it's minus 102 to get 9 points. That's about where I put him, though. So it's not enough for me because I would project him at about 9 points. But if you like that because you've seen him go off recently, I get that. And minus 102 is a good number to take it at. So good on you if you like it. The other one I had in here, I know we talked about Hallie trying to get all our money's worth. Let me look at Malik real quick. I cannot believe he's not more of a play here. And the same with Pat Connaughton. Let me pull them both up on props.cash, 25% off on the code. If you use LYB24 if you want a month of 25% off on props.cash is the truth, man. Like I hit them up for a partnership because I mess with them so much. And this is my first partnership. I've had opportunities to do other partnerships. I don't like the product like this, and I'm not going to plug it to y'all. But the Pat Connaughton 5.5 points it's crazy to me. This dude's just falling off the face of the planet, right? Like he had 6 shot attempts last game, but Bobby Poe was out, and he's still going to be like 6th banana on this team as far as his usage and all that stuff. So averaging 20 minutes on the series, 22.5 might have been a little bit high because Bobby was out in this last game. And I can't get next to it. Plus 114, they begging us to take it, and I don't want to necessarily give them what they want. So I'm gonna pass it on Pat C. I know he was brought up. Even the assist, like I guess he dimed up a little bit last game, but 4 potentials last game for 3 dimes. Like it's just this. There's nothing there for me. And I don't know why they would use him more in this game. I haven't seen anything to tell me that. The other one was Malik, and just wondering why Malik is not used more. Like, I just don't get it. The points are, they're at 12.5 now. He did go off last game. My bad. I should have been more clear about that. He did do his thing last game. He had 34.5 minutes last game to get 20 points. Now, Bobby's back. I don't know what that's going to do to his minutes, because look at this. Like, how do you not get terrified of the 6.9 minutes he played in game 3 there, where they lost that one too, and he still only played 6.9, and Dame wasn't in that game, right? What did Dame do? I'm already forgetting when Dame has been hurt. He played, but Dame got hurt. Dame Lillard last 4 games. He didn't play last game. So yeah, he played. Yeah, he didn't play the last game, but he played 45 minutes on a bum ankle in 426 when he got hurt at the beginning of that game, and went 6 for 20. So Malik was not playing in that game because Dame was out. So they might have him in here without Dame. I don't know if there's gonna be anything to that, but Malik Beasley with and without Damian Lillard this season. No, nothing goes up. The minutes go up by like 1 minute per game. The amount of threes he's taking goes up by about 2, though. And these minutes are off because he's just been a non-factor this playoff series because Pat Bev is getting so much run. But now they need another ball handler in there. It doesn't seem like Glenn Rivers trusts Pat Connaughton. So I think Malik might be a play on the points. Plus 104 to get 13. How many shots did he take last game? 12. 12 shots to get 13 points. How many threes was that? 7 threes. He made 4 of them. Let's be more realistic and say he goes 2 or 3 of 7 from deep. Now he's still only got 5 more shots to make 6 or 7 points. Yeah, 5 shots. He needs to hit 4 or 5. So he's either got to hit his threes, or I don't know that he's going to get his points. So what about the threes? Over 2.5 is minus 108. He just pulled 7 to hit 3. Still not enough, man. Against this 3-point defense, not enough for me from Beasley. So I got to pass on Beasley too, unfortunately. All right, everything is rolling on the bottom line here. I'm going to get going so I can watch this Knicks game. Appreciate y'all. We got the Discord popping, so jump in the description of the video. I'm going to have the final plays here that are going on the bottom line that we took. I'm going to put those into the comments of the video, so it'll be a pinned comment. If you do check that video out on YouTube, we'd really appreciate liking the video, subscribing to the page on YouTube as well. It's super helpful and gets us there. It really helps me bring this free content to you guys. So good luck with everything tonight. Bet responsibly, as always. Props.cash, LYB24 is the code if you want some off. And then, like I said, description to the link to the Discord is in the description of the video. Appreciate everybody that's being in here, man. Y'all make this a great live stream. Talk to you guys tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, as we're doing every day moving forward. I have monotone football coming on Thursday. Looking to get DK DFS on tomorrow, and looking to get Prop Bomb on Friday. That's the tentative schedule that I haven't put up yet, but that's what I'm hoping for. So best of luck tonight, y'all. Till I do see you next. Happy betting.